Thank you so much for having me speak with Flora. That was illuminating, and I hope that she will take us around for a few minutes to see how the guts of a data center work. But we're not done yet. Flora is just part of the conversation that I would love to have. HR, your human capital. The last couple of months has seen a lot of talk about the fact that Africa has a huge deficit of engineers and tech professionals. Tell us a bit about that, and I would really love to speak with your HR if she's available.
She is available.
Brilliant.
Let me just clarify that.
Asante sana. Thank you so much.
But again, one of the things that I also wanted to maybe say or confirm is, Flora is going to be part of the technical team that is going to take you guys around show you the very critical pieces that we have for the data center. Interesting. So when I was going to get a hold of her, she had to correct me on some of the statements that I was making in terms of availability. So apparently the tier 1 data center, it's there's an availability threshold, but downtime should not go beyond about 28 hours in a whole calendar year. That's for
28 hours.
28 hours. That's more than
so just about a day.
More than a day.
For a whole year.
Yeah, that's for tier 1 data center environment. For tier 2, probably not more than 22 hours in a whole calendar year. Then, of course, the tier 3 goes as I just mentioned, which is 8 minutes for per calendar month. But yes, having the right team really forms a very basic and very critical ingredient, for that matter, for any data center operator like ADC, so that we can make sure that once we go and sell, let's keep to that customer promise. So having teams that can be entrusted to make sure that they can upskill, because remember, we all come out of universities or the high institutions of learning with the qualifications that we've got. But being exposed to, specific industries so that we can gain that very skill that is required for us to achieve our objectives or execute our roles, that is something that comes with some of the human or maybe the HR elements and values that I wouldn't want to talk about, because why would I be talking about this yet? We've got our HR rep, my colleague June, and I think you'll also appreciate. We try to, as much as possible, embrace diversity.
Yes.
But we don't just talk about it, but it is something that we do. So there's diversity and inclusion in terms of how we go about recruitment, because it helps. There's always this African saying, and I live by it: the Ubuntu spirit. You are because I am. Or I am because you are.
Yes.
And for me, I always borrow that because not all of us can be engineers. Not all of us 100%, can be doctors. 100%. So the fact that you're then, at least embracing that diversity in yourself, that is an African thing. And we make sure that we live to it by letter and spirit, because our customers are also very diverse. But thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dan.
I think at this point in time, allow me to also take a break and maybe allow our HR
I would love
rep to have a chat with you before we can then do the tour.
Absolutely. I would love to speak to June.
Hi, my name is June Mutelesa. I look after the human capital here at Africa Data Centers. Well, in as much as I am regarded as, the HR person here, I like to consider myself the people champion at ADC, simply because I seek to champion the people's agenda within the business.
June, the HR question has fascinated me for as long as I have been working.
Yeah.
Way back in the mid-90s, when I used to work in the motor industry, we used to have a personnel manager. Then it has evolved. It then became HR manager. Now we have human capital director, human capital or HR business partner. Could you just break that down for us? Because, I'm not an HR professional, so sometimes I get confused with all these terminologies. And then as you break it down, talk to us about the pivotal role that HR plays in data center like ADC?
Interesting that you briefly mentioned on the evolution of the HR as a profession.
Yes.
And likewise, just to add on to what you have alluded to,
Yes.
people in HR are now regarded to as people and culture champions. And why I say that is because there's an element of culture that comes into place when you look at the people dynamics that exist within any business. So to start off with where you began, personnel management. So previously, personnel management was all about getting someone to do the job and pay them and they go, without regard of how are you equipping this person to ensure that they become a holistic human being, in the sense that
it's all about keeping records.
Exactly. More less about what investment you're making in individuals, and more about what documentation have they brought in, what do they need to do, have they come in on time. It was less of a journey and more of an event. So nowadays it has become one of those things where you have to journey with employees right from inception up until when unfortunately or fortunately you have to exit them or part ways with them. So it is more of an evolving kind of thing, whereby now you have to invest in each and every step of the way with this employees.
What role does HR play
thanks for that.
Yes.
So the role that HR plays, really, it like I have alluded to, it starts from the point of getting the right person and then getting the right fit for the organization. We do believe at Africa Data Centers that we can hire for, we do hire for attitude and train for competence, simply because we believe that anyone can learn anything.
Okay, I would love to repeat this. Hire for attitude. Train for competence. Okay, break it down.
So with attitude comes a lot of things. And when I speak of attitude, I speak into what we value as an organization. At ADC, we pride ourselves as being customer obsessed. And from the point of interviewing a candidate and realizing that this person might be a misfit within the business, they do not champion the customer's agenda, then for us, that would be a problem. So ideally for us at ADC, as we look at onboarding a candidate or onboarding an employee as we recruit, we seek to drill down and understand, are you one who would fit into our culture or not? Are you an individual who can easily be taught? Are you willing to learn? Are you able to come and gel well with the team from a teamwork perspective? Because again, that is also something that we value as an organization. So looking at the attitude that you portray during the interview really speaks into whether we will get you in or not.
Okay. Yeah. So apart from it just being a catchphrase, what are those key ingredients that tell you that somebody is customer obsessed? So
just by the demeanor they give, because I mean, in a 30-minute interview, it might not be
that obvious
that someone is really customer obsessed, but really based on how we seek to understand your, where you sit in terms of the approach that you take if faced by a difficult situation. Say if a customer comes at you having expectations that you cannot meet, what do you do as an individual? If you're having challenges with a customer, what do you seek? What approach do you seek to come up with to help solve their solution? And equally, not just looking from an external customer perspective, likewise from an internal customer perspective, what I mentioned from a teamwork perspective speaks a lot into how you get to work with your colleagues. So again, if someone is not able to demonstrate through the interview how they have previously been able to work together with their team members to bring the best out of them, then for us, we might not be convinced that indeed you would make a good fit for the business.
Thank you so much, June. There is so much more that I would love to delve into, but we just simply don't have time. So what I would love to maybe get a feel from you is how, as my last question or comment, how has ADC navigated the new normal? And, if you understand what I'm talking about, new normal, you guys have actually been at the threshold of making sure that people can work from home without any issues in terms of connectivity and stuff, in terms of redundancies and all that kind of thing. But you yourselves, your staff, you have quite a number of young people. How do you now operate in the new normal? Do you work on hybrid model? Is it now everybody is back at work? How does that work? And how is it going to pan out going forward?
Okay, interesting that you ask, because in the recent past, we have seen quite a number of organizations shifting from work from home hybrid model to now actually requiring their employees to be in the office full time. But for us as ADC, we have gotten to a space where we appreciate that we can comfortably have a hybrid model that works for us. So much as we have the technical team which would be required to physically be in the office
Yes.
on pretty much all days, given the nature of what we do have a system that works for us, a hybrid system that works for us. And equally, it does not leave out the technical team, because there's an arrangement that we do have from a shift perspective that works in our favor, such that you'd find that, say, if someone, for instance, was working overnight, then by all means, we would not expect them to be in the office the following day.
Correct.
And likewise, for the support functions, we equally do have we've incorporated the hybrid system where we have employees choosing what days they can work remotely and what days they would physically come to the office. But ultimately, for us as an organization, we appreciate that we need to have that physical interaction. So again, we have systems that work for us in the sense that we have coordinated our team such that at no point in time would we lack an individual from a specific department just to keep the wheels moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, June. Again, as I said, we can go on and on, but time is not on our side. So thank you again very much for accepting to be hijacked by Dan, just like your colleague, and come and talk to me. Asante sana.
Karibu.